Hi, welcome back. This is Kimile with Heal with Kimile. Today we're talking about what is the truth when you're in a relationship. I have plenty of couples that come see me, and look, as a person that's listening to people fight all the time, and I stop them and I say, look, you can fight at home. Don't fight with me. Let's get to the truth of what's happening. Here's one of my secrets that I use with couples. I ask each individual, what is your truth? What is the real truth here? If I said to you, how do you get her to do this? How do you get him to do this? What is your answer going to be? Because a lot of people live on repeat. And what I mean by that is they have the same fight over and over and over. They are blaming their partner all the time. And it's his fault, her fault that they do what they do. And they have the same fight. And so they never, ever really have the insight to realize what they're doing to cause the same fight. Another thing that happens when people are fight routinely like this is that fight distracts them from something else. So they almost need to keep the fight going to not focus on something unhealthy in their relationship, an addiction. Maybe one of you is looking at porn. Women look at porn too. Maybe there's something happening outside of the marriage and there's secrets and withholds. So the fighting and the routine fighting keeps you off each other's scent. So the fighting might be absolutely the goal. Keep the fight going so that you really don't figure out what's going on. I just had someone today I talked to, and this cute girl is dealing with a counselor who is almost kind of siding with the husband. And that happens. I mean, I think that, counselors have their own perspective, have their own opinion, but siding with the husband, that it just takes two. It just takes two. Everything takes two. So there's never really any validation of what she goes through or validation of what he goes through. It's just kind of a general statement. And they actually do worse when they leave this counselor. So they're fighting more with this counselor. And I think it's definitely some sort of distraction because they're not really getting to the real issues. But if you're in a counselor's office and you're not getting to the real issues, look, find a better counselor, find a different counselor. But if you're having the same fight over and over, and it seems like, why are we fighting like this? What is this really about? Pull back and quit engaging. When you quit engaging the same way you've always engaged with that person, and you're not crying anymore, or you're not fighting back or defending yourself anymore, just pull back and observe. Just say, I don't want to engage right now. I'm not going to engage right now. See if that doesn't get that other person to change their dynamic. And are they going to change their dynamic so that they quit engaging? Or are they going to maybe be calmer or more present? Or do they keep at you with trying to keep the fight going because they have a withhold or they've got something they're hiding and they need the fight? Does that make sense? Look, I've never met an addict that doesn't, when they start jonesing and they need to go use, they don't pick a fight. They pick a fight deliberately to get away from their partner so they can go do what they want to do. And then it's your fault because, you're a bitch or you're an asshole or whatever. They pick a fight so that you're the problem and, they have a reason to leave or the reason to use. Or they peck at you until you get mad. And then when you get mad, and then they're crying or they leave and they get to be the victim. And as the victim, and they utilize that as the victim, they go do what they want and they leave the space or they go get high or drunk or cheat or whatever. So the nature of fighting with relationships as a couple is kind of a phenomenon. And I'm always trying to look at, as the couple, why are they really having this fight? Is it legitimate? But if it's the same kind of fight over and over and it's a routine kind of fight, it's serving a purpose. It's serving a purpose. It's serving a narrative. And it's something that one of you at least wants to keep happening to avoid what's really going on. The chaos is needed. So consider that if you're in a relationship when you're like, why the heck are we fighting all the time? What is the fight really about? And then if you're fighting and you think it's that person's fault, or you're just turning into somebody with that person, look and see who you're turning into with them. Who are you becoming? Well, I'm always upset. I'm always yelling. I'm always angry, or I'm just sad, or I feel withheld. I can't be myself. I don't dare say what I want to say because if I say what I want to say, it's going to cause a reaction. So are you turning into this protector, or are you babying that person? And that's going to take a toll on you, by the way. If you can't be authentic and you can't fully self-express, and you have to make sure you're managing that other person's reactions or emotions, what are you doing? I mean, this is kind of like you're living to not have a fight or living to manage their feelings. That's impossible, by the way. That's not sustainable. And if you're trying to walk on eggshells so you don't cause a disruption, again, that's harming you. It's not sustainable. And if you are the person that is highly reactive and explosive, what's the impact of that? What's the impact of you being bombastic, or, and is it something you're doing on purpose because you want to dominate the space? Is this how you stay in control of the relationship? Do you want someone to fear you? Do you want someone to be under your control, under your spell? What's that really about? Are you terrified of intimacy? Do you have a secret? What are you hiding? And is it something that you're just used to? You're just used to being the asshole, used to being the boss. This is usually someone who has a hard time with intimate emotions. They have a hard time with their feelings. They have a hard time sharing their feelings. And so feelings just are something they avoid. But this is someone who lives in a regular mood. Their mood is probably angry, or maybe they're stoic and they're just not emotional. And so they're holding things in all the time, and you just can't get them to talk to you. So there's just a lot of ways we communicate that it's again, self-serving. We kind of stay in this communication pattern for a reason. And then when I'm dealing with people alone and they come in and they have relationship challenges, they're talking about this relationship they're in, and this is the problem and that's the problem, I stop them and I say, look, what about this works for you? Why do you need it to be exactly as it is? And what's the real truth? Like, what's your truth? What is it that person does not know about you? What is it that you are withholding from them? Because maybe you have the goods on them and, they cheated on you, or they flirted with some guy or girl. And so, you're going to use that against them the rest of the relationship, and you're mad at them, and you have a right to be mad at them. And you think that you have a moral high ground or something. People that have moral high ground issues and they are critical of their spouse or their partner usually have a secret. They usually have something they don't want to tell the truth about, or they've done the same thing but they can never admit it. They don't want to ever tell on themselves. So when their partner does something that they've done or that they don't like, they will take that and use it against their partner like a beat up stick. And if that partner feels guilty, oh man, then that guilt sticks around, and that's predictable. They know how to make their partner feel guilty. And that is a form of control. Like, if you could push that guilt button on your partner and they feel bad, they feel guilty, that is a form of control, and you're controlling your partner. You're controlling their behavior, because it does change the way they treat you. Maybe they are nicer, kinder, buy you things, withhold themselves, play small, take things back. It's like that person's trying to accommodate you. And again, you may want them to accommodate you, but is that the truth? Like, what's really the truth? I rarely find someone, and I'm not saying I don't, but I rarely find someone that walks in my office that's tortured or beaten or physically harmed by their partner. If they're complaining about him, it's usually an emotional complaint. It's not that they're getting, physically hurt, right? And if that's happening, look, we're calling the police. We're going to get out of it. Why are you still there? But most people are coming in because they're emotionally holding their partner hostage. And they've got some sort of guilt they can play on their partner, and that is how they keep him in control. And look, ultimately, that's a way of avoiding true intimacy. That's a way of manipulating, because they don't feel worthy of love. And so if you've got to dominate your partner with guilt or make them feel bad about themselves so they stay, that's because you don't feel like you're worthy of love anyway. So I try to get to the real truth of what you're really feeling, what you're really doing. Why would you really want to harm your partner with guilt and reminding them how bad they are? If they're that bad, you should leave. If you're that miserable, why are you still here, right? So this is the kind of stuff I work with clients. And so we want to get to the real truth of what is your real truth about what you're doing to cause the problem inside of your relationship. And look, if you can tell the truth about that, if you can just own it, and you're humble and you can see the insights for yourself, you can fix. Most people, when they can get humble and they can see how they cause their problems, and they apologize and they're genuinely working to improve their behavior, and they're sorry, and they clean up their mess, they don't need counselors. You don't need someone like me to kind of point out what's really going on. I think a lot of people keep the distraction going, keep the fight going, keep the chaos going, because they don't really want to get into me. You see, that intimate way of being. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be vulnerable. And it is truly sad, because I think that love is lost in this kind of situation. A lot of drama happens, and people truly suffer when you really can't get to the truth of something. So if there's anything you've got going on and you think that you would have some benefit sitting down with me, I'd love to talk to you and your partner. And you can find me at healwithkimile.com. That's HEAL with KIMILE.com. God bless. Bye-bye.